Shalom. Hello. So, I wanted to share a dream that I had yesterday. I tried to do this video a couple of times, and boy, I dreamed that there was a black serpent that came down. So, the beginning of the dream, I was in a hotel. It was a huge hotel, and I got lost in the hotel. I had a room there. I was there with my husband, and we had a group of people with us, and I couldn't figure it out. All the hallways looked the same, so I just got turned around what floor I was on. And I had a friend, him and his daughter came, and they were like, "Oh, we're down there, you guys are over there." So he pointed me back to my room, where it was. But before that, there was a hotel staff, the person in charge of all of it. She ended up giving me a master key to get into the rooms. So I checked a couple because I wasn't sure which room it was, and I opened our door and it was there. But before I went into our room, I saw 923 and I saw 613. So on one side of the doorway was 613, the other side was 923. We walked, was in there. I was looking for my husband. Then I looked up. Everybody just stopped. And I could see in the sky, and I saw this black smoke converge from 4 different directions into this entity, this black serpent. And it dropped from the sky. And in the dream, I had a vision, and I saw someone had punctured their finger or something, and I heard he's after the blood. So it looked kind of like this thing, and a combination of this thing. It was a serpent. It was a sea serpent, I guess. I've never seen one in my entire life, so I guess black sea serpent. I didn't even know those things were real. But Revelation 12:7, then a war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and the serpent, and the dragon and the serpent and his angels fought back. But the dragon was not strong enough, and no longer was any place found in heaven for him and his angels. And the great dragon was hurled down, the ancient serpent called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was hurled down to the earth, and his angels with him. And I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, Now have come the salvation, Yeshua, and the power and the kingdom of our Elohim, and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren thrown down, he who accuses them day and night before our Elohim. She was pregnant and crying out in pain and agony of giving birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven. Here it's a huge red dragon. I've had a dream about that. And so apparently there's 2, which is recorded in the Septuagint in the book of Esther, where Mordecai saw 2 serpents. So there you go. With 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 royal crowns on his head. His tail swept 1/3 of the stars from the sky, tossing them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman as she was about to give birth, ready to devour her child as soon as he was born. So it looks like the dragon comes down first, because the woman hasn't given birth yet. So I don't know. I know people are looking at different things for this particular time frame we're in. Not necessarily a date, but the dragon's already down before she gave birth. So just some thoughts there. It looks like that's what it says. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them, but woe to the earth and to the sea. With great fury the devil has come down to you, knowing he only has a short time. Where do you dwell at? In my other video I did about Matthew, he causes the sun to shine on the good and evil, and rains on the just and the unjust. What is your foundation built on? Where are you dwelling at? This world is not our home, and as we walk through this wilderness experience we're in, we need to reconnect back to where we were from the beginning. But here's the end. In that day, Jehovah will punish Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, with his fierce and great and mighty sword, even Leviathan, the twisted serpent, and he will kill the dragon who lives in the sea. So that was the dream I had. For what it's worth, there you go. And I wanted to tell you also, we talked in the last video about me doing the access term Ethanim, and I was searching for that. And I wanted to connect it with what he's been showing me about this, because bees kept coming up with Deborah or Debbie. So the name Deborah is identical to the word, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that, meaning bee, and both come from the magnificent devour, meaning speak or pronounce, okay? Deborah, meaning bee, is curious, looks like the common masculine plural, Deuteronomy 1:4, Psalm 118. Some commentators imagine that the bee was called a speaker because of its buzzing, but that cannot be true. That's what they're saying. So they suggest that the bee was named by means of devour root because it produces honey. Honey, chief sweetener in the olden days, and the word, all those words are sweeter than honey, Psalm 119. He reports that the scroll full of lamentations that Jehovah gave him tasted after it. Manna was tasted like honey wafers. Manna also showed the glory of Jehovah, and Yeshua compares himself to it. So the masculine meaning behind his chamber, inner sanctuary. So I thought that was really interesting because I was looking for the room, and it was a safe split. It was a safe place. So we're going to connect this. Now here's the dream from Mordecai. And I'm going to just pause it here, and I wanted to, you can read this, but I wanted to point out this word, this king in Judah, Yochanias, or Yochanan. And this was the dream. Behold, voices and a noise, and thunders, and an earthquake, and tumult upon this earth. And behold, two great serpents, both ready for conflict. And there came from them a great voice. And by their voice every nation was prepared for battle, even to fight against the nation of the just. And behold, a day of darkness and blackness and tribulation and anguish and affliction and tumult upon the earth. And all the righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own afflictions, and they prepared to die, and cried out to Jehovah. And from their cry there came, as it were, a great river from a little fountain, even much water. And light and the sun arose, and the lowly were exalted, and devoured the honorable. So here's the access term that I had the codes for. It's only one time in the actual Tanakh in the plain text, but 470 sometimes hit and encoded. So I wanted to show this was important because it talks about this, and here is, and he made a release to those who were under his dominion. So Esther, again, we talked about this before, commanded her to fear Elohim and perform his commandments as she was when she was with him. And Esther changed not her manner of life. So Ruth was a Moabite princess. She changed everything and left everything just like Abram did. But Esther, when she was in the palace, didn't change a thing. So that really should speak volumes. So according to Leviticus, prisoners would be free, debts would be forgiven, and the mercies of Elohim would be particularly manifest. So this is Jubilee. So this would be a release, that he released to those who were under his dominion, and he was under his dominion. Yoganias. So that is a connection. There's a connection there with Yoganiah. For the meaning, it means Yah appointeth. And so Ezekiel priest wrote while in exile. And he talks about in Ezekiel 40 verse 1, the information provided for the date of the following vision. The 25th year of his exile, on Rosh Hashanah, the 10th of the month, the 14th year after the fall of Jerusalem, establishes that this was a Jubilee year. By itself, this text implies that Jubilee cycle began on 1406. So only in the Jubilee year was Rosh Hashanah observed on the 10th of the month. So Leviticus 25:9, and thou hast caused a trumpet of shouting to pass over in the 7th month, in the 10th of the month, in the day of atonement, do you cause a trumpet to pass over all your land. Yom Teruah. So pass over, that's really something that this verse has. This Isaiah 27, it shall come also in that day that a great shofar will be blown, and those who were perishing in the land of Assyria and who were scattered in the land of Egypt will come and worship Jehovah in the set-apart mountain at Jerusalem. Psalm 98:6, with the trumpets and the sound of the horn shofar, shout joyfully before the King Jehovah. Let the sea roar and all it contains, the world and those who dwell in it. So the seas are roaring right now with multiple hurricanes that we just had. Numbers 10:10. Also in the day of your gladness and your appointed seasons, and in your new moons, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, and they shall be to you a memorial before your Elohim. I am Jehovah, your Elohim. So we have the new moon that is on the 19th or 20th, and then it's the hidden moon. So we get to celebrate the beginnings of our month, which is awesome because he's restoring the ancient pathways back to him. And then we have the celebration of Yom Teruah on Day of Atonement. So how cool is that? Oh, the happiness of the people, knowing the shout, O Jehovah, in the light of thy face they walk habitually. So we're walking with him in this realm because we're not citizens of this world. So here again, Ezekiel, at the beginning of the year. So we already saw that would be Rosh Hashanah. I know there's lots of arguments about this, but it does make sense, especially connecting it with Esther. Ezekiel meaning Jehovah strengthens or strengthened by God, our Creator. You are also to count all 7 Sabbaths of years for yourself, 7 times 7 years, so that you have the time of the 7 Sabbaths of years, namely 49 years. So Leviticus 25:9 says the Jubilee year was to be announced by the blowing of the shofar on the 10th of Tishrei, the Day of Atonement. Since in all other years the agricultural year started on the 1st of Tishrei, it follows that Ezekiel's is at the beginning of the Jubilee year. The Talmud agrees that Ezekiel saw his vision on the Day of Atonement, at the beginning of the Jubilee year. The Hebrew text of the Siddur Olam states that Ezekiel saw his vision at the beginning of the Jubilee without citing the part of Ezekiel 40 verse 1 saying it was Rosh Hashanah and also the 10th of the month, indicating that Olam's statement may have been based on historical remembrance and not just on textual argument. In Leviticus 23:8, 29, and 30, this is a little footnote, the phrase on that very day, Be'etzon Hazeh, is applied 3 times to the Day of Atonement. This phrase from Leviticus is used by Ezekiel 40 verse 1 in specifying the time of his vision. It was the 10th of Tishrei. On that very day, the Day of Atonement, the 574 BC. So when it talks about the counting now, it's important that that makes 49 days. The 50th or Jubilee year of Leviticus is identical to the 49th year by the same reasoning. There's another place, another website talked about this. The Talmud, in search of occasion in Jewish calendar where the 10th of the month marks a new beginning, of some process or ritual that would qualify it to be called a Rosh Hashanah, explains this verse to be referring to a Jubilee year. The 10th of the 7th month, Yom Kippur, in a Jubilee year marked the moment when all servants, this is so significant, when all servants were freed and all land was returned to its original owners, a new beginning for these Israelite families. This is from the Torah.com. So here's the table. I want to show you where it came from here. I worked on this back in this year. I want to show you that. And then 3 times the word midnight comes midnight. And it comes up twice in the plain text. At midnight I will rise and give thanks to you because of your righteous judgments. This is Psalm 119. Teach me good knowledge, good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed your commandments. Before I was afflicted I went astray, but now I observe your word. You are good, and you do good. Teach me your statutes. The arrogant smear me with lies, but I will keep your precepts with my whole heart. Their heart is gross like fat. Delight in your Torah. So here it is, the accuser. The Torah of your mouth is better to me than thousands of gold and silver. So the enemy, smear, the arrogant, the proud. Remember that he's king over all the children of pride. And the accuser always accuses with lies. Okay, here's Job. This is with the plain text. In a moment they die, and the people shake at midnight and pass away. And the mighty shall be taken away, but not by human hand. Okay? So here's the coming up in the table. It's 1 Samuel 30, verse 21 to 2 Samuel 14:33 at a skip of 12:25. And they brought the head of Ishbosheth to David to Hebron and said to the king, behold, the head of Ishbosheth, the son of... So they brought him his head. Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants and did not go down to his house. So here you have the access term there. Here's midnight. And this is kept coming up. Debbie. So there's the connection to the bees. Which is here. And they massacred all this bee farm, which is terrible. And the irrigation system, and then there's the bees on the woman's belly. We'll go back, there's bees, Yom Kippur, this comes up. Next in here, on North Hidden Tower, steeple. You have Jubilee, so Jubilee comes up here. This is Jubilee. And it comes up again, right here. And it shares the where there's another one there. Childbirth, childbearing. Gross, I talked about that in the word oil. So the midnight oil, lamp, slumber. Matthew is Jehovah's gift. Daybreak, brightness, light, shine, dawn, daybreak. And here's Nush, here's the serpent and the snake, and that came up. So here, this table was done back in May, and I had this yesterday, and I looked for it, and it's here. Honey, honeybee, Deborah, which is right here. Sharing the hay with midnight. To speak. So I'm speaking. Ethan, which is the part of the word Ethan. How funny is that? So I put in like patience, enduring, and that came up. Like patience of the saints. A fruit, the product of patience has its reward. Effect again, and then and this kuf. Vav, hey, is part of the word, a root of patience and waiting for him. And waiting for him has his rewards. So wait for the gift. Wait for him. Things are going to happen first. We're going to see some stuff. Things aren't going to happen the way people think they are. So having done all to stand, stand. Having your loins girt about with truth. Having on the breastplate of righteousness, having your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, the good news that we get to keep these things with them. We finally are figuring, oh my gosh, with everybody's help, we're figuring out, okay, this must be the actual time. And we keep going and keep going. And the enemy's done so much to try to change everything. So, feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, and munah, with a tent peg driven into the wall with a firm action towards, and the sword of the Spirit. So we stand in His armor, because it's His righteousness, and we wait patiently for Him, while battling in the Spirit, and interceding and praying for people, and not committing the shan hara, because people are going to look at it in a different way, and not speaking evil of people, because that's very bad. So I wanted to get this out.